Today is Friday, August 28th, 2026. Here are the day's main stories. Norwegians are mourning the death of King Harald V, who passed away early today at the age of 89. His son, Haakon VIII, has now ascended to the throne.
Crowds gathered at the royal palace in Oslo, laying flowers and flags. The new King Haakon, 53, held an extraordinary Council of State meeting, taking on the royal family's motto, All for Norway. The late King Harald died in hospital after being treated for a rare blood condition. His coffin was later taken to the palace in a public procession. King Harald was described as an inclusive, people's king who modernized the monarchy. European royals and political leaders paid tribute to his service.
6 months into the war between the United States and Israel and Iran, Tehran's regime remains entrenched despite extensive assaults.
One of the main goals of the United States and Israel was to bring down the regime in Tehran. However, Iran's leaders have managed to hold on to power, taking an even harder line. Weeks of U.S.-Israeli assaults killed dozens of top Iranian leaders. The 5-week assault wiped out Iran's limited air force and most of its navy, and damaged its missile and drone programs. Despite reduced military capabilities, Iran has largely kept the Strait of Hormuz shut down.
In Greenland, the justice minister states the government cannot conclude whether genocide was committed against the Inuit community, following an examination of forced contraception use in the 1960s and 70s. 2 reports on the practice were released today. Denmark has passed a compensation law to pay 300,000 Danish crowns to each affected woman. Records show that between 1966 and 1970, 4,500 Greenlandic women and girls, some as young as 13, had an intrauterine device, or IUD, implanted without their knowledge or consent.
British right-wing political commentator Milo Yiannopoulos, 41, has reportedly been detained by Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, and appears to be held in Louisiana. The circumstances are unclear, and neither the agency nor Yiannopoulos has responded to requests for comment.
Federal Reserve Chairman Kevin Warsh has warned that inflation remains too high, sparking speculation that interest rate hikes are imminent. Speaking today, Warsh noted that despite a stable labor market and resilient consumer spending, prices are still climbing faster than desired. The Consumer Price Index shows prices have risen 3.4% over the 12 months ending in July. After his speech, the likelihood of a September rate hike rose above 50%.
Western officials believe Russian President Vladimir Putin wants to avoid a direct military confrontation with the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, or NATO, despite hostile rhetoric aimed at allies supporting Ukraine. Officials suggest recent warnings from Moscow reflect growing pressure Putin faces at home due to slow and costly gains in Ukraine.
In the Spanish exclave of Ceuta, outbreaks of violence have occurred as tensions mount between locals and foreign arrivals, following a mass influx of migrants from Morocco. Residents complain of feeling unsafe. On Thursday, locals prevented Red Cross personnel from distributing food and water to migrants, and some later set fire to migrant camps.
The Israel Defense Forces, or IDF, have killed a Hamas-linked former senior Jenin terror cell member in a vehicle strike in the West Bank.
In Haiti, residents are demanding answers from police after gangs killed 47 people and kidnapped more than 50 others. The violence occurred after a church in the town of Canaan was attacked.
And an update on the devastating floods near the Nepal-Tibet border. Experts are warning that more flooding could be on the way. The death toll continues to rise, with nearly 2,000 people now reported missing and over 500 dead. Rescuers are continuing to retrieve survivors from the mud-caked areas.
That's your NDP media briefing. Thanks for tuning in.